As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually.
The United States is ramping up its military operations off the coast of Venezuela, and this time seizing an oil tanker. Take a look at this new video to our monitors here showing that operation. President Donald Trump confirmed the operation during a roundtable with tech leaders just yesterday. Now, this is the first U.S. seizure of an oil cargo from Venezuela. It's also the Trump administration's first known action against a Venezuela-related tanker since ordering a massive military buildup in the Caribbean. Venezuela is now accusing the U.S. of, quote, blatant theft and international piracy. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata has those details.
Venezuela has condemned the seizure of its oil tankers, international piracy, and brazen theft. We're learning that Russian President Vladimir Putin, in a phone call with Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, expressed solidarity with the Venezuelan people. Some Democratic lawmakers are expressing concern. Senator Rand Paul saying it sounds a lot like the beginning of a war. Chris Coons says he is gravely concerned Trump is sleepwalking us into a war with Venezuela. And certainly seizing that oil tanker yesterday has taken tensions with Venezuela to a whole new level. We're learning more of what looks like a multi-agency operation with the backup of the U.S. military, the FBI, and Homeland Security were involved, and elite Coast Guard Special Operations Forces called Maritime Security Response Teams, including sailors and Marines from the USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft. That's the largest and most advanced aircraft carrier in the world. They all took part. Officials tell us
Hey, shalom, shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops, the great millstone who rule well, peace, and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Yeshua Chanak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Shalom, shalom to all the believers out there fighting for their faith. Okay, and as you see in this video, I played a little bit. We'll play a little bit more. We might play a couple of videos. But you can see how Nero Trump, all right, he's doing whatever the hell he wants to do. The cruel Lord. And you can see that it's always been about the taking of nations' resources. I want to read a couple of comments. I was watching this video when I first woke up. And it's kind of clickbait, you know, because there's really nothing in this video as concerning Putin. But the title of the video is Putin Reacts with Support for Venezuela After U.S. Seizes Oil Tanker. Right? I thought it was about, you know, the drugs and stopping the flow of fentanyl and cocaine, you know, and all these illicit drugs here in the United States to help the American people. But as you know, the majority of people really who take drugs are Edomites, especially coke. Okay, you got a lot of Edomites also on fentanyl. You know what? I'll play. Let me do something. We'll play a little. I'm gonna search up a video, but I'm gonna get a scripture. Okay, but you see that the Edomite is doing whatever hell he wants. I mean, Trump is just a puppet, so it's really from the top, and you know they're pretty much trying to seize back the whole Western world. They're trying to seize the Americas back and control all the flow of resources, and they're going after Venezuela's oil tanker. You know, how could this is literally illegal. But we know that, all right, Esau, he doesn't abide by any rules. Okay? He doesn't abide by any rule. He doesn't even abide by his own rules. Okay? Before I search that video, let me get a scripture. Okay? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. If it's in his benefit, well, you know what? Before I go there, if it's in his benefit, okay, then he's going to do it. All right. If it harms you, he doesn't care. If he's made a alliance with you and he wants to break the alliance, he's going to break it. And it doesn't matter what you say, because in his eyes, he has the power and he can do whatever the hell he want to do. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. The whole world is seeing that, especially, I mean, the so-called white man in general, but especially, you know, the Edomite, the so-called white man here in America. Like they just do whatever the hell they want to do. They're in that same spirit when they came and conquered the whole world. They're in that same spirit. And these nations are bucking up, saying no, right? This world is based upon fair principles, right? That you teach. And now everybody's seeing once again that Esau doesn't play by those rules. Okay? America doesn't, especially America doesn't play by those rules. And the whole world is going to rejoice. Okay? The whole world is going to rejoice when America goes down. I'm going to get another scripture. Is that Jeremiah 50? But let me finish this. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right? And the Lord, he's given the power to Esau. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And what has he done with this power? Has the world as a whole, has the world became more free, and has it been become a pleasant place to live in? Are people happy, or are people angry and sad and mourning? When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So we definitely know that the righteous are not in authority. Here it is. You are seizing an oil tanker of a sovereign nation because you sanctioned the oil because you don't like them, because they're not playing to your tune. And we've seen this many times in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. Oh, remember Libya. All right. Any nation that doesn't play ball, that goes against the status quo, okay, that goes against the so-called hegemon, they're gonna go and they're gonna take you down. But see, the thing is, there's an illusion that everything is fair, and they covet fields and take them by violence. See, who actually benefits from the resources of Central and South America? Is it the actual natives there? Well, for example, Mexico. Who's the president of Mexico? Is it an actual native, so-called Mexican Indian? Huh? Or is it one of those people who wear a small hat on their head that crawl themselves in power? See, the white man, he's in everybody's business. It says, and they covet fields and they take them by violence in houses, and they take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. So if you got something good going on and the so-called white man doesn't like it, he's going to take it. He's going to destroy it. He's going to blame you and say, you're a drug dealer. You're destroying your civilians, your people. You're a pimp. You're trafficking. All right. You're doing illicit things. You're linking up with enemies. You're plotting against America, when it's obvious and clear that this is not what's going on. But the so-called white man, he does whatever the hell he wants to do, and the whole world is seeing that everything that we've been saying from our apostles and elders on down is the truth. See, you can't trump prophecy. Prophecy speaks loud and clear, and it shows you whether you like it, believe it or not. You can buck up against it, but prophecy still speaks, okay, and manifests itself. Okay, I want to go to the comments, and we'll play a little bit more of the video, and then I'm going to go to Jeremiah and then maybe Isaiah, okay, because the whole world is going to rejoice when this damn devil goes down. And who is he coming after the hardest? He's coming after you Jakes, all right, you so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans. Okay, the Monroe Doctrine is still in full effect. All right, so pretty much, as Yahushua said, you should hear wars and rumors of wars. This is actually an act of war, to seize a sovereign nation, oil tanker, the ability to make money. Like, oil, when you sell oil, a nation exports oil, that's billions and billions of dollars that they're making. You're cutting off the ability for a nation to provide for itself. Okay, it's like somebody coming in and stealing your car, okay, and stealing your home, kicking you out of your home. You don't even have the ability to even go to work to make money, because your transportation is gone. Okay, somebody stole all your clothes. You can't even put on your work clothes. Somebody stole all your tools. Okay, you've been kicked out of your house. You don't even have the ability to take care of yourself. So you cause a man to perish. Okay, the regime change it's pretty much an open coup. They're telling you, and you would think that America was this fair place, that people they loved each other, and they were the big brother of the earth, and they made sure that everything was fair. You would think that there would be millions and millions of people marching and protesting against these actions, but the average everyday person is struggling day by day just to make it. So they can't even worry about this. America is waging war on the average everyday citizen as well. So it's war and rumors of wars. So there's a rumor of war that America is going to go to war with all the drug cartels, all the mafias in America, all the drug syndicates in Central and South America. Okay, and ultimately, the nation states, Venezuela. Now Trump is talking against Colombia, Mexico. So it's a big mess. Okay, so I'm gonna read a couple of comments. We used to buy oil from Venezuela. Now we just take it. You've always been taking shit. Not only do you want the oil, you want the gold or any other natural mineral resource that the nation has, and you want the people of that land to be your slaves, which they already are. But you want them to make them even more of a debt slave. And remember, this whole world is going to adopt the MOTB system. This is all part of that as well. We can't take our eyes off of that. You got the Diddy distraction going on. A documentary about Diddy. That's going to be the new, that's going to be the new distraction. Okay. And the Ep to the Steam thing, that's, nobody really talks about that. They, Trump said, why are you still talking about that? We're moving on. And now they're hitting you with all these wars. Okay, you have inflation. Oh, well, silver just went up to, I believe, $60, the highest it's ever been. And what does that really mean? Oh, well, it's just going up. But why is it going up? It's because the value of your money is going down. So if you have $100 in the bank, right, 1 year, and there's a 10% inflation, right, that $100 that you have in the bank now can only buy $90 worth of goods. So you can see how inflation can affect you, to the unknowing. The people, the unknowing, the people, they don't know why goods just go up. Okay, the next comment: largest one ever seized. Oh, good. That's the important part. Why purchase anything from anywhere when you could just steal it? Yeah, America, right? We just read because they covet lands and take them by violence. Okay, that's what the Edomite has done. Why do you think you so-called white people here in America? Well, even in Europe, you took Europe by force. Everywhere you go, you take it by force. Okay, that is your nature. Okay, really, that's what the Lord set you up to do. Okay, and you pretty much have took peace from the earth. Okay. Oh, people were fighting against each other, and you always try to use that as a straw man argument. No, we're talking about you, Esau. We're talking about you, so-called white man. Okay, this is your nature. Okay, you still kill and destroy. And now that the internet is available, and everybody has a cell phone, and we live in a society where everything is being watched. Okay, you can't talk yourself out of these things. It's clear. It's literally clear. Okay. Normal people. Wait, it was about oil? USA. Always has been. It's always been about oil. It's always been about resources. Okay. Nations have power because, first and foremost, they have militaries. Okay. And they control the flow of resources. They control trade routes. So if you can stop a nation from trading, you can cripple a nation, and that's exactly what they're doing. So that's going to cause major unrest, major division, okay, in Central America, Central and South America. That's not only affect Venezuela, but that's going to affect all those nations. Panama, that oil was going to Cuba. You can see how he's attacking Jake. Okay, that's going to destroy. That's going to destroy all those economies. That's going to cause major conflict, major unrest, and that's what the devil likes. He likes unrest. He wants to take the scopeo off of him. Okay, it's all about divide and conquer. It's all about, you being so down and out that when he comes with this new system of control, by the way, this new digital system of control, okay, you're going to go and you're going to accept it. And here it says, where's the drugs? Yeah, America loves drugs. They're the biggest consumer of drugs. Okay, and a lot of these Edomites are really the biggest consumer of drugs. Okay, let me see something. Drug epidemic. Okay. Hold on. Look at that. That's an Edomite. Kingston, Philadelphia. There's so many documentaries on it. Look, Esau.
And if I ever catch you out here again, it's gonna be a problem, Cheyenne. I just want you to get clean. I don't want to see you out here on these streets.
Okay, Daddy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. The majority. Oh look, this is Seattle. Inside Seattle's drug epidemic. All right, you can watch. There's so many videos. Look, the America streets of Philadelphia. Let's click that. Fair, and this is all fair use, by the way. This is 2 years ago. If you look, Jake is out there. Don't get it twisted. Jake is under those curses. And some of these Edomite individuals, they can be Jake as well. All right. Nevertheless, you do have a lot of Edomites that are on drugs. Okay, the majority of them are on drugs, just like the majority of people who receive, that receive, like EBT and shit like that in housing are Edomites. And that was exposed during that whole government shutdown when they blocked off the EBT for about a couple of weeks. Don't get it twisted. Jake is on drugs, but it's a lot of Edomites. And you can see when Jake on drugs, Jake still be kind of like functioning. You see, Jake, and our people can get clean. Yeah, I was strung out for so many years, and you would never know. Esau gets it, and he is just, it's done. He's done. Look at this. This is actual America. Esau, just on dope. This is actual America. Okay. Instead of sending billions and billions of dollars, okay, well, this video here.
And if you go to their web.
Okay, no, it's not this one, but it was a video that he did earlier. Hold on. Yep. I just watched it. It's one of these clips. I don't have to get it, but basically when he was talking to Colonel Douglas McGregor, it was about it was about a couple of different, Ukraine, Venezuela, this and that, and this. Okay, it's in my history. Let me see. He made a statement, and I want to pull that up too. Yeah, this one right here. We'll get this later, Lord's will. But he made a statement, Douglas McGregor, basically saying that it's costing the Americans $1 billion a day to keep troops in the Caribbean. Okay, it's costing $1 billion a day to keep those troops over there. Instead of using all that money, Why don't you fix up America? Because it's never been about fixing America. Okay, it's never been about that. And furthermore, this is a collapsing society. The Colonel Douglas McGregor. I got the timestamp. We might go into that, where he said, yeah, this is it's over with. It's done. America's done. This is a dying empire. All the signs are there, and equated it to Rome, the Greco-Roman Empire, and how it fell, because these are the same nations coming back, and that's prophecy. Okay. Another comment. If it wasn't clear already, this is not about drugs. See, that's the so-called, Trojan horse. We're doing it because, drugs are coming into, America. But as you can see, it ain't trying to stop no drugs. I mean, look, drugs, that is a big part of the U.S. economy. That funds, the majority of people are on drugs, whether it's street drugs or pharmaceutical drugs. Okay, Esau, he loves drugs. And when you look at the definition of a drug, which is not a medicine, it's a poison. So America's all about poisoning, okay, the whole world. That's part of that, that Babylonian juice. Okay, do as thou wilt, a spiritual adultery, homosexuality. But I'm going to get Jeremiah 50, right, in 23. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation amongst the nation? You can kind of see that these streets in America, you can go any of your major cities. Okay, any of your major cities, the infrastructure is all messed up. Most of these homes, look at Esau, pans down. Most of these homes have mold in it. Okay, that cause you to get sick. Okay, the infrastructure is breaking down. Okay, the people's minds are breaking down. The people's bodies are breaking down. The selling of fake food, violence in the cities. Okay, look, you got this shit going on in the UK. Let's click this real quick. The mother of Babylon. Look at this. This is in the UK. Look, Esau. Look, Esau. Esau's done. Look at Esau. It will look like Jake right there.
In Birmingham Street for street.
Look. The Western culture is done. What we are witnessing is the fall of the Edomite power structure, the hegemony of America. And America, what America's doing, they see that and they're trying to grab it back. So let's read this again. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? I mean, when America came into power and it reigned supreme over all the nations, none of these nations could imagine, what we're seeing now. They looked at America like, oh wow, this is a great nation. Remember John, he saw America as in a form of a woman. Okay, attractive woman with all the the gold and the skirt, the provocative clothing, and like wow, and he was in this beautiful woman. But now the skirt is being lifted up, because you can have a beautiful woman, right, and she can live a hard life. She can live a life of being with multiple men, being a whore, eating all the delicacies, eating out every day, all the dainty things, living a hard life, on the streets. And this could be the most beautiful woman. But over time, right, every year you could see, a collapse. Every year you could see a degradation to the point where like, damn, did you see it? Man, we went to school with her. She used to be bad, man. Jessica. She used to be bad. Look, and then you see her, she out on the street. That's America. She's just a street whore. Okay, with fucking venereal diseases. One eye going the other way. Okay, lice in your hair. The shape, she got to hold in the shape You know, she got a little shape. You could tell that she could have, you know, she just let herself go. She got to hold in with the girdle, and now her skirt is being lifted up, and you're seeing everything. You're seeing all the filth. Okay. Meanwhile, the leadership of Babylon the Great is waging war, okay, against the whole world, especially the Israelites. How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, because ultimately, we're not just speaking this to say, oh, we're just bringing out the thing, oh, America's going to collapse, and then there's going to be another nation that's going to rise in power. China and Russia's going to come in, and it's going to be the Indo-Russian Chinese pact. That's going to be for 500 years, and then you're going to have, you know, no. America's going to be destroyed, utterly destroyed in World War III. And we see all these nations. Now you can see, like, damn, America is like, this motherfucker need to get taken out. Like, they're literally stopping progress. Okay? And these nations hate America. All right, and you can see all the actions that America has taken on how the nations can just be like, fuck it, we just gonna shoot missiles on them. Okay? And this is what Jeremiah is seeing, like, damn, how is the whole hammer of the earth, you know, cut asunder? A hammer is, you know, for judgment, you know, and to break things in pieces. And you see that America just goes around break things in pieces. But then John's like, damn, America is broken into pieces, which is AKA Babylon the Great. Hey, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken. O Babylon, thou was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. And so-called a Christian nation, right? A so-called Christian nation under the disguise, you know. But when you look at all the policies are for lawlessness against the scriptures. They allow witches. They allow homosexuality. They literally allow you to take drugs. Like, you can actually legally just go. It's so-called illegal, or in a lot of cases, it's decriminalized. They literally allow this to happen. They can actually clean up America. Okay, but this is not about that. Okay, Esau, this is a dying civilization. I want to get let me find the point where Colonel Douglas McGregor said something. Okay, let's go to this video real quick. Okay, bear with me.
Is to, for your audience, if they could read this, is to go back to Paul Kennedy.
Raise it up a little bit. There you go.
Paul Kennedy wrote this many years ago.
And we don't need a book like that. It says the rise and fall of the great powers. Yeah, you can just go in the scriptures, and the scriptures tell you that how the Lord, he'll set up one power and he'll bring down another power. This is all out of the scriptures. And what these Edomites are doing, they're afraid because they're actually seeing day by day their collapse, and they reverence the Greco-Roman Empire, especially Rome. Okay, they understand that that's the start of their civilization, them coming into power. Okay, and they're like, whoa, hold on. We studied Rome, and it's not looking good, because this is the exact things that happened when Rome went down. And they know that they've done so much evil to the dark nations that, like, oh, wow, we got to do something, because we can't allow these people to get into power, because they're going to whoop our ass. Okay, and we're telling you that's exactly what's going to happen. But what really, really is going to happen is Yahushua, a so-called black man, is going to come from heaven with the angels, so-called black individuals, who you call aliens, who you say, what you believe to be UFOs, which we know to be chariots. They're going to come and destroy you and deliver their elect in America. Okay, we're the Israelites, and see, that's one of the biggest. That's the biggest kept secret on the whole planet Earth, is who are the people of the Most High, who are the Israelites. Okay, and meanwhile, while you're being exposed for being the devil who you are also the Israelites are being revealed as well. And you understand from the top, not talking about these low-level Edomites, you understand from the top that this is a changing of the guard. And in your mind, you're gonna try to hold on to power as best as possible.
Rise and fall of the great powers in an effort to address exactly what you just mentioned that I've talked about. And interestingly enough, I was teaching at West Point when the book came out. My roommate at the time, the person who was sharing my office, he was very, very disturbed by it.
See, these Edomites are actually very disturbed. Don't think for one moment, you know, when you see Esau out there out and about, you know, he might have a nice home. He might, you know, be able to send his kids to college. He might be at a restaurant. Well, shit, Jay be at the same goddamn restaurant. You know, Jay be at the same restaurant that Esau, you know, that Esau be at in a lot of cases. You know, these middle class, upper middle class Edomites. Jake be, you know, be around, you know, rubbing shoulders. And Esau is concerned. He's like, man, this is not good, man. And then their woman is stepping out on them. That's another clear sign. You know, the white woman, she got jungle fever. She's just infatuated with the so-called black man. Okay, really all the tribes, you know, so-called Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, they're just infatuated with Jake. Okay, and that's another sign that you're going down. When your own woman, here it is, Esau's in power. He's in power, okay? And his own woman doesn't want him.
And he rightfully told me, he said, I think we're on this path. I, at the time, was more optimistic. And I said, well, you know, Reagan's only gotten started. Maybe something. And
Colonel Douglas McGregor, which I believe is an Edomite. You know, who knows? But I believe he's an Edomite. He's really trying to save America. He's really trying to blow the horn. And he's still trying to be optimistic in particular cases. Like the president is really going to do something and the president really has power. You have all this knowledge and you don't know that this is all orchestrated from the top down and that you don't have power and that they're coming with a system of control. How do you know all this knowledge but you can't understand that? So are these guys, a lot of these guys control opposition? They're able to say particular things?
Good will come out of the Reagan administration. We can find ways to disentangle ourselves from overseas, but we're still financially viable. Well, that's true. But we were already starting down a path of overspending and overextension, what Paul Kennedy called imperial overstretch. Well, we've long since gone beyond that, Judge. Everybody that you bring on that has any knowledge whatsoever of the United States government and how we operate, whether it's John Kiriakou or Larry Wilkerson, Larry Johnson. How do we end up with all these Larrys? Anyway, the point is, you know, John Mearsheimer, everybody knows this. Yeah. The average American hasn't really been asleep, but the average American has to work. He has to put food on the table. So
you see that? So the average American, they know particular things, but you don't have time to actually research and study and actually understand what's going on. Why? Because your ass got to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. You upset, you mad, you got to fucking hurry up, get some coffee, and go to fucking work. And work 8-10 hours for a slave wage. And by the time you come back home, you just want to eat some food, watch a little TV, and go to bed. You don't have time to, you know, figure out what the hell is going on and make particular actions. You're caught up.
When he says, well, I'm making $50,000 a year, which 50 years ago was $11,000 a year. And he finds out that his house that he's in now costs 15 times what it did when he was earning $11,000. That his car is 30 times more expensive than it was when he was earning $11,000. In other words, the slight increase in his wages are not going to keep up under any circumstances with you know, his needs and his buying power. In other words, his purchasing power is in the toilet. Yet we have all these people at the top of the structure who are making millions, hundreds of millions, even billions. And they're the ones that own the government. The people at the bottom, they have little or no say. So they say, well, there's nothing I can do, and they go back to work. Well,
President-
that will last much longer.
The president's own Drug Enforcement Administration.
I might have maybe I bet he made some good points, but I kind of maybe I got the wrong timestamp. He just said something particular, basically, America is done, it's finished. Let me see if I can go back just a little bit. Then go to 16-minute mark, and maybe it's around here.
There are many other billionaires out there that have effectively reserved certain political positions for themselves with President Trump. That's very obvious. That's obvious in the Middle East. It's obvious in the Caribbean. It's obvious in Ukraine. The empire is falling apart.
There we go. That's what I wanted. The empire is falling apart. Let's rewind that. And then I'm gonna get 2 Ezra 6. We get and we get also Sirach 10. We can get so many scriptures that anybody in the know, any intellectual, anybody that understands politics, any economist, okay, anybody that just does a little bit of research, okay, understands that it's over with. Okay, America is falling. And right before the Roman Empire fell, what happened? They were in all these different types of wars. They were spread too thin. Okay, their economy was in shambles. There was a lot of dissent amongst the people. There's a lot of anger against the powers, the authorities. Okay, and the currency was devalued. Amongst you had civil, architectural, moral decay. Are we not experiencing that today? I mean, it's so much nastiness going on out there. It's really, you don't even want to talk about it.
It's obvious in Ukraine. The empire is falling apart. Is the point? We have far more important business here at home, which incidentally President Trump is trying to address.
And he ain't trying to address nothing. He has far more. Let me get this in Sirach. Okay. Bear with me. Where am I at? I am, okay, Apocrypha. Second Ezra 6. Okay. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See? Esau, this is Esau's world. This is the end of his world. And the end of his world is going to be filled with nothing but violence. Because you reap what you sow. He received his world, his rulership, by violence. Right? Let me get another precept. All right. Oldie, but goodie. And brought this out in a minute. Okay. Revelation 13 and 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity, all right, shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So we understand that ultimately, if you lead a nation into captivity, you're going to go into captivity. If you kill by the sword, you're going to be killed by the sword. Okay? And we have patience and faith in this, that the Lord is going, basically do the right thing and take this damn devil down and put us on top. One that is profitable. Because the way that the world is going, the scriptures speak about how if the Lord did not shorten the time, no flesh will be saved. The ultimate goal for Esau is to put a goddamn chip in you. And also, what about all these goddamn, what do they call them? These data centers. There we go. These data centers that are popping up, sucking up the resources of cities. They take more power these data centers be taking more power than goddamn cities, man. And the toxic waste, the byproduct from, processing all that data, which that's all the AI, because everything's going AI, everything's going digital. Okay, we haven't forgot about the digital currency. We haven't forgot about the digital ID. That's still coming amongst all this. So you can see how it's just so much shit going on. But see, the Spirit is on us to be able to identify these things and tie these things back to the scriptures. Okay, the prophets were called seers because their minds were open to see these things before it happened, to prophesy, and we're letting the people know. Remember, we're watchmen as well, so we're watching for the house of Israel, letting you know, hey, this day is still coming. Don't be settled on your lees. Don't think that, because you might have a little cool little job, you might be relatively in good health and got plenty of food. And, you just stay in your little lane and you just cool. Nah, it's not. No, it's you gonna be tested too. Remember, this test is gonna come upon the whole world. Okay, and we are keeping that in the front of your mind, because Jake will forget. Okay. I wanted to let's get Isaiah 14. I'm gonna go back to this first video and we'll play a little bit more, and then I'm gonna get Isaiah 14 and we'll close it, Lord's will.
Interdiction took place without incident. That's a military term. No injuries to anyone, including the crew of the tanker. Is reportedly full of oil and is headed to Cuba. We've tracked that tanker as it entered the Caribbean from the Middle East and the Far East. And the U.S. has sanctioned Venezuela's oil companies for years. But this specific tanker was seized because it was on the U.S. Treasury's Department's...
These people are hypocrites. Hypocrites. Okay? Hypocrites. Okay, the joy of the hypocrite is yet for a moment. All right? That's Esau, man.
Actually designated nationals list for carrying that sanctioned oil from places like Venezuela and Iran, though that was under a different name. And Attorney General Pam Bondi says that makes that ship a legitimate target. So this is all part of the pressure campaign.
So the whole world, ultimately, the whole world is going to rejoice, man, when this damn devil goes down. Let's get Isaiah 14. We'll read a couple of verses here, and we're going to close it out. Okay, your boy Nero Trump, the cruel Lord, he's doing whatever the hell he want to do. He's saying whatever the hell he want to do. It's always been about the oil. It's always been about regime change. It's always been about taking of natural resources from other nations and keeping, especially Jake, down. They don't want allow Jake to prosper. They keep you niggas at a cap. You can only go so far. Look at P. Diddy, right? He was on top of the world. This nigga was moving around like he couldn't be touched. Okay? And the same devils that put him in that position, that gave him, that liberty and gave him that power, are the same, and that money, and the ability to do this, the ability to fly under the radar, the ability not to be prosecuted and do all, showed you about sacrifices and all type of different things to gain power, are the same motherfuckers that took you down. So either way it goes, you Jakes always catch the bad end of the stick, man. You never get a fair deal. And if there is a fair deal, Esau, he plots in his mind of how to destroy the deal, break the deal, make you fall from heaven. Okay, and all these celebrities that sold out to the devil are going to be exposed. Okay. Isaiah 14 and 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased, right? Like we were reading in Jeremiah. Jeremiah is basically saying the same thing. How is the hammer of the earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become the desolation of nations? Because this empire, this hegemony, this was the greatest empire on the planet Earth. This far exceeded ancient Rome in its stretch and its influence. Remember, it is Babylon the Great. Okay? Where its ideologies extended across the whole planet Earth. Everybody knows about America. Okay? And everybody tried to model their societies off how America was modeled, because they saw the great riches. Okay? And we know these heathens, Okay, they worship money. They love riches. Okay, so it's the same thing. So how is this great power? How is it destroyed? Right, the golden city here in Isaiah 14, verse 5. Okay, the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the ruler. See, within this gospel, the good news, this is actual good. We actually have good news that the Lord is going to destroy the powers that are on top, the wicked elite bankers that control everything, the priesthood of Babylon the Great, that are perpetuating wickedness on the planet Earth and oppressing especially the Israelites. Okay, keeping the fact that we're Israelites, destroying our people, having our people sell out, poisoning the food, poisoning the water, and ultimately they want a system of control where you own nothing and you're so-called happy with a goddamn chip in you. That's still coming. Like, that's still coming. That's the really the final prophecy when we know, okay, we're there. Yahweh Shai is literally about to come. All right, and he's gonna come with full force. Okay, he's gonna come with full force. He's gonna be releasing his android robots. Okay, we could do a lesson on that. Okay, he's gonna be releasing his robots. He's gonna have his AI. Pretty much everybody's gonna have a social credit score. Everybody's data is gonna be in one of them data centers, and the police and the military, they're gonna be able to do facial recognition and all. They show you in all these dystopian movies, man. That technology is here, Palantir and shit like that. Okay. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, because he's not stop. Esau's not stopping. Here it is. He's taking the ability for a nation to take care of itself. Oh no, this is sanctioned oil. I don't like you. I'm sanctioning this. And you know what? I'm gonna take this oil tanker. He couldn't do that to Russia. He couldn't just take Russia's oil tanker. That's an act of goddamn war, bro. But Venezuela doesn't really have, they can't go to war with America and win. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Right, because Yahweh Shemal Shai is the one that's going to be destroying Esau. Revelation 19 speaks about how the Lord, he's going to wage war, righteous war. He's going to take all the rulership from off, the crowns from off these nations. See, a regular human or a regular nation is not going to be the reason why America is going to fall. The Lord is going to use these other nations with mighty military powers, namely the Waster, which is the thermonuclear missile. He's going to use them. He's going to use that technology to destroy America, but ultimately, it's not going to just, okay, America's destroyed and nation's going to rebuild. No, Yahweh Shai and the angels are coming as well to deliver the elect from that time, from that hour of destruction. Change them into the new bodies, and no heathen is going to be part of that change. Okay, no heathen will be delivered into the chariot, because salvation is you being saved from something. Okay, you're going to have heathen nations that are not going to be in America, that are not going to die. Yeah, okay. That doesn't mean that they receive salvation. They're not going to be in a chariot. Okay. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. So that's the end result of all this madness that's going on, all this confusion that's going on. And it is confusion, but we're able to make sense of it through the Holy Spirit. And to let you know, hey, I know all that shit is happening. Remember, Yahweh Shai said that wars, rumors of war, earthquakes in diverse places, pestilence, famines. But the end is not yet, because there's still particular things that need to happen. Okay, namely the last, really, like the last final prophecy, until that's really, like the Apostle Ronald said, the MOTB is really has the prophecies in a bottleneck. Until that's, because the technology is here. Until it's, and they're putting it inside people. There's people with chips inside of them. But until it's made mandatory across the whole world, okay, the end is not going to come. So that's mainly our main focus, to let you know, hey, all that shit is happening, but keep your eye on this, okay? But ultimately, the whole earth is going to be our rest. So I'm going to close it there until next time. Shalom to the leg.